Hello, everyone. Andrew here. Something a little bit different tonight as I come to you from a very messy studio. Um, Before I actually get up and running, I just want to, since it's just myself tonight, and I've thought to myself, you know what? Let's go on YouTube. Let's go public and see. So I just uploaded the website. Hopefully that's okay. Let's close this. What's he doing? So I hope you've had a wonderful day. Um, I'm literally just going into my other account. We're all friends here, right? Hopefully. I'm just making sure that I have the chat open so that if, oh, of course, I'm in the other. Bear with me. See, this is where if I was with the others, Alima and Dave, I'd be doing this off camera. You know what? I can't I can't access that. And I think what I'm going to do is, since there's no one watching right now, which is probably a blessing, I'm just going to deal with the chat as and when. So look, if you're here live, that's when I'm going to respond to any of the questions or any of the input that you might have, and I'm just going to give you a few updates. And also, I got a plethora, a bunch of questions from students from a variety of timelines, but they're all relevant. And I thought, you know what, it's been an interesting day today. We had a This is the beginning of a 4-day weekend, but myself, I'm going to be doing a lot of SEL training, yoga training, believe it or not, meditation training, and making ready for my Breathe for Change SEL course that I've been taking, along with 3 other individuals from the school. So we will be certified to teach SEL, to help raise awareness of social emotional learning, to help alleviate some of the stresses that are going on around the schools, not only just with students, but with teachers as well. So it's kind of going to open up a whole new world of who knows what, right? So it's going to be interesting moving forward. This today, the seniors had their meeting in the auditorium, and Mr. Garcia was giving his announcements and housekeeping, this and that, to the seniors, helping them through the final months of school. And I had a small handful left in class, and as we were, I think about 5 or 6 of us all in class, we had some great conversation, and it's just some really good topics were brought up, and it was just great to hear all the students helping each other, and helping one individual in particular, and just getting out all the information that they needed to kind of, I think they've made a few missteps, and it was good to see all the students kind of rallying behind and saying, well, it's not too late. All you need to do is this, and you can get things back on track again. So it was good. And, I asked a couple of questions, and I saw that, some were kind of struggling with what they're going to be doing in the future. And then also, just I had a couple of questions come my way about the, about what are they going to do with college. They asked me what I did when I left high school, and we kind of had a small conversation about that. So, just to reiterate what I said to them is when I was in high school, I went to a school in the UK, in Bristol, in the UK, southwest of England, and it was called Bedminster Down High School. I'm all congested. Hang on. That's better. The mute button. So that school was very much one of the, I don't see many schools like it today. It was a bit of a vocational school, really. They taught us home economics. They taught us how to cook. They taught us dressmaking, like how to sew, how to make clothing. We made food. We made all sorts of dishes, which I loved. And it was something different. Um, we did woodwork, metalwork, and it was a conglomeration of all of these things that made for, I think it set the foundation for everything that I do today and love doing today. Behind me, I've got one 3D printer here, I've got another 3D printer here, and I've got one there in a box, which I've yet to unbox. So all of these things, having those abilities or being gifted with those lessons when I was young kind of gave me the confidence today that I can do anything that I want. And I literally feel that way. One of the things that I want to do on this channel, maybe, is to get industry professionals to come on. Maybe I'll have a doctor, emergency room doctor come in. Maybe we'll have a banker come in. Maybe we'll have, someone that builds homes, construction worker, an electrician, and just speak to those individuals. How did you get started in that industry? How did you end up with the skills that you have? And yeah, I think it would be, there's enough of you out there that would end up giving you a great idea and some confidence, really, that all's going to be okay. Onwards and upwards, as I like to say. Anyway, a while ago, when I have new students in my class, what I like to ask is, just increase the volume just a little bit. And I'm making a studio mistake, so I'm just going to make sure that we're good. Okay. Now we're cooking with gas. And again, still no viewers, but I'm kind of okay with that. I just wanted to make sure that something's getting out there for the algorithm, and something is going out there for maybe someone that's tuning in because they think the show's going to be up at 8 p.m. today. So today and next week, at least, I think it's just going to be myself again. So I think what I'm going to do is there's a bunch of people that I need to interview, and I'm sure that one or two would even be up for a live show. So maybe I'll just get a couple of people in and we'll talk about, the area of their specialty. So let's see, as we go through, I highlighted some stuff, but not everything can be read because I want to keep all of this anonymous. I don't want to necessarily tell you who everyone is, because some of you might know these individuals. So let me see. Okay. So I have one here. It says, I am 14 years old. I like to read, play the trumpet, and draw. I don't draw as much as I used to. I like looking at illustrations and the beauty of them. I watch cartoons sometimes, following about 2 ongoing series at the moment. I read almost every day. I end to watch live streams when I am able. I rarely watch them anymore because I've been busy. I have a cat and a dog. and two birds. I'll leave out the names. My outlook on life is to live it to your fullest. We don't live forever, and we should get to experience things in life that we wouldn't be able to do once we're gone. Let's see. How do you get started on life after high school? How do I know that I'll be successful in my goals that I currently do not have? That's actually a big question. Quite a number of individuals have asked that question. How am I going to succeed in a career that I don't even know that I want to do yet? And I think just like high school, you're going to end up traversing through life, traveling through life, learning those things that you need to learn. And I think it's just, we can only see what's just ahead of us, right? A little bit like that proverbial car in the middle of the night. We can only see as far as the headlights, and the next mile that we go, we can only see again as far as the light shines in front of us. And life is very much like that. We kind of walk a few paces, we learn some new things, we take on some new information, and then new things open up to us. A little bit like the 3D printers that I have. I've been showing individuals and online social media and what have you, what I've been making home here, and bit by bit people are reaching out to me. Hey, Andrew, would you be able to make this? Or could you construct that? Or could you design this? And slowly but surely, I'm able to say yes, I can. And, things just like this course that I'm taking now for SEL, I don't know where all this is going, but I'm just following this in here. I'm following my heart as much as I can, making not the right decisions. I'm making the best decision I can with the knowledge that I have at any given moment. And slowly but surely, life reveals itself one step at a time. And I think as long as we don't overthink it, as long as we don't freak out, right? Because a lot of us do freak out these days when, what's going to happen next? Should I be worried? Should I be worried? And I think as much as we can kind of unplug from that and relax, and we have some good stress management procedures in place, I think it's very important these days that we do find a way to set up those safety nets for ourselves. Society is changing rapidly, too fast, I think, at times. And it's all down to technology. Because of the technology, all of the stresses, the social media, the things that are going on, things are traveling like wildfire, like concepts and ideas. Someone can mention it in one place, and the next thing you know, it's in another, simply because individuals have shared their thoughts or expressed an opinion, and maybe society is kind of ripe for that opinion or that thought to be shared or expressed, and the next thing you know, it kind of catches on. And but anyway, getting lost down a rabbit hole here. This is where Dave would jump in and save me, or Alima. They're both good at that. So yeah, how do I get started on life after high school? It's just going to happen, just like breathing, just like riding a bike. It's one of those things that you're going to find yourself in that situation, and you're going to be looking back, and of course you're going to be okay. I think the only way you won't be okay is if you stopped really caring and stopped doing and stopped taking part in life, right? So I think as long as you're active, as long as you're trying to deal with situations as they happen, sort out those obstacles that you need to get over as they arise, I think you'll be fine, as most of us are. I had no clue where I was going. I had no clue what I was going to be doing. And life, I think, I don't know, I'm a little bit of a fatalist. Fatalist? Is that right way? Again, Dave and Alima, they're the ones with the words. I just got the accent that makes it sound like I have the words. But I believe that, or is kind of like my destiny, right? If you want to look at it like that. And I do. I kind of, as I've lived 56 years of my life, I kind of look at all of this and I think to myself, when I look back on everything, it was kind of my destiny. But even when I was 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, there were those little sparks, those little elements of he's going to be doing this one day, or he's going to be doing that one day, because that's what I was doing back then. And I think oftentimes when we get unhappy in life or disillusioned in life, it's because we've lost our way and we've tried to become someone or something that we're not. So, if all else fails and you kind of feel a little bit lost, just think back. What is it you love to do? What is it you love to do when no one's around? What is it you love to do in your part time? Draw, paint, make, create, write, read. There's going to be some basic underlying thing there. For me, it's creating. I love designing, building, making, solving problems. I'm always solving problems, design problems in my head. Hence, I'm a graphic design teacher today. So here's an interesting one. I want to put on glasses to read this, but I don't want to look like an old man. An older man. Let's see. I'm trying to go through this without revealing too much. My plan over the next year is to do the best I can in school. My goal is to achieve all A's in my classes and try new things. I am planning on going to college. Not sure as to where yet, but I'd like to apply to Rutgers. I am not very sure that graphic arts program is the overall. So I'm not very sure about their graphic arts program, but the overall college is very nice. This is actually my first year in graphic arts. I've always considered myself a pretty creative person, and I'm hoping this is where I'll find my passion, hopefully stay on the graphic arts career path as a designer or marketing manager. Someone's got their head on straight. Over the next 3 months, I am hoping to do the best I can in all my classes, get A's, learn about graphic arts, the basics, be the most creative I can be. And by the end of my time here at Tech, I plan on achieving a lot of college credits, many good friendships, learning experiences, good grades, and hopefully make it to the track team. My name is blah, blah, blah. I was born in Colombia. That's fascinating. I moved here when I was 11 years old. I went to school in Patterson. In middle school, I did my freshman year in the International High School and got accepted to Passaic County Tech about 3 weeks ago. This is amazing. I am very outgoing and friendly. Yes, she is. And I actually love school. Yes, she does. Everyone finds it funny because most kids don't like it much. I think a lot of young adults don't like school, do they? I was neither here nor there about school. I won't read on and on and on, but just a lovely, let me see, a lovely, well thought out, well spoken individual, and yeah, just great. Let's see, got a new cat, fantastic. Yeah, no real questions per se, but just And even reading this, it makes me realize that I wonder, is there any first year basics with some of the applications that were missed? So maybe now I've kind of gone through this deeper, because this wasn't really, this was like a get to know you project. I glanced over a lot of it, I know, but this is good stuff. Jones, why didn't you read this before? Let's see. Someone else? No questions. Okay. Will there ever be peace between people who are hated for being different? Probably. So they kind of answered their own question. See, this is where other hosts would come in good. Handy right now. All right. So I'm going to say I was different for much of my life. I don't need friends. I do have friends, but I don't hang out with friends. I ache for more time by myself so I can do the things that I want to do. How crazy is that? You'd never know it in school if you were to meet me. I seem very outgoing, lively, bubbly, friendly. These are the skills that hopefully most of you will learn for yourself in your own time. Just that it's better to be, not to fit in. I've never done that. I've always stood out, and you know, I get made fun of in a loving way. I get made fun of for being different, because I'm always inventing, I'm always designing, I'm always building websites, I'm always going above and beyond. And I think because I've lived such a, not a tragic life, it's not been tragic in the slightest. Excuse me. It's not been tragic in the slightest. It's had, hello, oh wait there, life. Good man. I don't know who's legit and what's spam. Every week we get some spam. And each week I just go into the settings and block certain words and what have you. But yeah, it's interesting to see that to completely threw me off track. And if these two were here, they'd say, hey, you know what? Yeah, you were just talking about this, that, and the other. Let me just check that question again. Oh yeah, so when I was younger, there was a fair bit of bullying. You know, there was groups of people that didn't like me because they were in their cliques. And it's funny to go through life, leave a country, and then to reconnect to those individuals on Facebook many years later. Imagine leaving high school now, and then 25 years go by, 20 years go by, and then your old high school buddies, you know, reach out. How you doing? What's going on? And it's all good. You know, hopefully by then you've worked out a lot of the things that are going on here and going on in your head. And you've just found a little bit of peace, you know. Another question in here is life as hard as it seems? And as though we've kind of touched on this before, life really is what you make it. You know, life can seem hard, but as we grow older, what seems to happen is we take on new skills, new abilities. We learn how to overcome things and not allow things to affect us in such a way. You know, I've made mistakes. I've made horrible mistakes that, and I voiced them up. You know, I've made mistakes in saying things that I didn't think before I spoke. Spoke. So, you know, with my kids, thankfully I have a relationship with my son these days. Him and his wife are expecting in March a baby, so I'm going to be a granddad, which is amazing. So I'm very grateful and blessed to have that. And you know, I mean, it's a double-edged sword to kind of talk about these things sometimes, and whereas the other individual might not want you talking about them, but it's been years now, and I don't know where my other child is. I don't know what they're doing, and that's heartbreaking. Uh, but I need them to know, and I'll always be the first one to speak up and say, "Yeah, I messed up." Uh, I'm just not thinking of the ramifications of saying certain things in certain places, and like, oh, other people, and the next thing you don't hear from your child for several 3 or 4 years. So it's heartbreaking, and it gets tough to want to keep on reaching out, but you have to because you're the adult, and they're an adult as well now. But I hope you understand what I mean. It becomes disheartening because you just feel it's a little bit like, is not like, but it's a little bit like if you had a job and you kept on pouring your heart and soul into it and no one cared. How much longer would you keep on pouring your heart and soul? Well, this is my child, so I'm always, until my deathbed, going to keep on trying and keep on apologizing, because I have no idea the levels of which, I must have upset them at some point. Anyway, that got off track. Let's see. So way back when, yeah, there used to be individuals that there was all this. I think today, and I'm going to say this, I think today, everyone growing up today in today's world is way better off than maybe 20, 30 years ago. Because when I was growing up, there was a lot of a lot of injustices and a lot of things that were being overlooked, and it was okay to say this and it was okay to be that way. But these days, I think there's a lot of people that have your back. There's a lot of people that are willing to stand up for you. They get upset on your behalf. How dare you look at so and so like that? We were talking about not necessarily social injustice, but we were talking about cancel culture. That's when things go a little bit too far, right? And then some of you are in agreement with that, and some of you are in disagreement with that, and it's both okay. You're allowed to have your viewpoints, and I would argue that you're not wrong and you're not right. It's just a case by case basis, and it really depends on the situation. But to become self-aware, and as you get a little bit older, you'll find that you'll be able to handle those situations, people, places, and things that would trigger you, or you would trigger them, and it would affect you adversely. But I think, the older you get the tools is, and as long as you partake in life, the individuals that concern me are those that don't throw themselves into life. I would say, if you want a skill when you're in high school, if you want like a superhuman power in high school, if you have the ability, you ain't gonna like what I'm gonna say, if you have the ability to do public speaking, it's going to push your boundaries is going to help you grow in the right ways. I hate hearing myself speak like this. So when I play a video, I don't like listening back to it, but I'm here, I'm doing it. And I do push myself. And I'm on the final year for the school podcast. I think I'm going to take a break next year. But, you know, it's something that I just saw something move. So I'm like, oh, is someone saying something? I got no viewers though, so I don't know. It must be robots. So yeah, public speaking, getting up at the front of the class and putting yourself in that situation. I need to do that for my students. And the tough thing is, it's a really, if someone asks, I'll show you what I've been designing on the 3D printer. It's a product I'm going to release. So I've only got no viewers right now. But I've been working on something, and I've been showing this is a sidetrack. I've been showing my students. I actually think that the one class that I teach, which is digital media, is probably one of the biggest hidden gems in school, because it doesn't matter what you do or who you are, it's giving those individuals. So say, for example, you are a construction worker, or you work with HVAC and you install, you know, air conditioners and what have you. It's going to give you the ability to advertise, to create the graphics, to make a website, to do a podcast, to do videos, like all this stuff that in today's world is almost a necessity. So I do like to show my students the things that I've been working on, designing, my plans, and every little step of the way I show them, and I show them my mistakes. And I'm like, well, I tried this because I thought it would be a faster way of doing it, or a more economical way, and lo and behold, it was a failure. So but anyway, let's get back on track. So will there ever be peace between people who are hated for being different? Look, I think if we have a hang up about something, that's our issue to kind of get over, right? I've met plenty of people that hate me purely because I have the nerve to get up on camera and release videos, and someone out there is going to say, who the heck are you to be releasing videos, to be telling me how to live life? I'm no one. And the beauty is, you have the control, right, to switch it off, or to subscribe, or to follow. And you got to listen to this and listen to a little bit of this, and does it make sense? So a little bit of critical thinking. But yeah, the trolls and those people that don't agree with you, none of that matters. You will learn, hopefully you will learn to quiet those voices. I will tell you now that the biggest adversity that you will have in life, most of you, and the biggest person that's going to kind of talk down to you and say bad things about you, is yourself. And it's overcoming that's one of the biggest challenges in life. I've said it before, but one of the things I used to do is every time I would make a mistake, I'd be like, oh, Andrew, you stupid, you know, and list all the nasty words, insert here. I realized of my own accord many years ago, before any of the self-help books that I would read. Oh, what's this? Oh, no, cancel. My computer's telling me it needs to download stuff. That I should stop that negative self-talk. And it wasn't just negative. It was downright abrasive. It was nasty. And it was an extension, sometimes, of how some people would talk to me. And I would take on that conversation. I would take on that persona myself, and I would tell myself off on behalf of them. And I just realized that none of that motivated me. If anything, it quelled me. It squashed me. It crushed my spirit. Let's have a look. Okay, let's see what we got. Still no. I don't know what that is. I don't know what these. I got to look up what these things are, but probably what I'll do is just go in and remove the ones I think are spam. Let's see. Let's see. My brother is my rock. He's 9 years older than myself. He's probably one of my best friends. That's me as well. I think I've got two brothers, two older. One is also on YouTube and doing well for himself. And my other brother is really doing quite well for himself. And he's a dog behaviorist. And I'm just kind of interjecting a little bit of me into these stories. Nick and Paul, and I go through phases, and they're both up there with my. I mean, that'd be a question, right, for a whole show. Are your siblings, should your brothers and sisters be your best friends? I wonder how many would say no. I love both of my brothers dearly and would do anything for them both. And but recently I've been talking quite a bit. These last few years I've been talking quite a bit to my middle brother, Nick. And so it's always nice to have that connection. And it just helps you kind of feel closer. But we got so much in common, and we're doing a lot of the same stuff. I told him, and last weekend he sent me a picture. He sent me a picture. I don't know how I can. I have the cables here. Let me try see if I can figure that out as we're talking live. So he's been learning how to become a woodsman. And a woodsman is an individual, a woods person, but an individual that can live in the woods, off the woods, can, make a campfire, whittle wood, make shelter, and all that stuff, all the survival stuff that you would do. I'll get back to this letter in a minute. And he's doing really quite well for himself. But he sent me a video. I can't see the cable here, and I don't want to stop what I'm doing. I got hiccups. And he was in the woods. He had a tarp, like you would have over the back of a truck. He had a tarp, and he made a tent. He had, I think, some canned food. He had a fire going. And he had permission to go into this area of the woods that someone owned, and I think he slept the night. And he was meant to come here, and we were meant to go across the United States. Look, right now, I know someone's going to end up watching and saying, you're so off track, but tonight there is no track. This is the foundation, the stuff here of tonight. But I don't care. This is me waffling on to no one. So, and he was going to come here, and we were going to go across the United States together. I was going to buy and then build a camper van or rent one. But I want to build one. I've got it all designed in my head. I have for years. And, but then he was like, you know what? Come over to the UK. and we'll go camping in the woods. Right, I'm going to do an old man thing right now. I'm going to find my wife's glasses, clean them off, because this text is really small. I can read it, but I kind of feel like I'm going cross-eyed when I'm reading it. Here we go. Look at that. Old Man Jones. My parents never got the opportunity to make the careers and names for themselves that they wanted, so they've got to live vicariously through me. And this is an individual that does great, which at times is an uphill battle, to say the least. I try to be myself, to be the best of my ability, because I tend to forget who I am. I don't know how to explain it. I do understand. I understand completely, actually. And just to interject here, if I put my finger on where I am, sometimes going through life, you're going to forget your greatness. You're going to forget what you're capable of. You're going to forget that you are passionate about some things. You're going to forget the tenacity, the grit that you actually have. Maybe you'll get a little bit lazy. Maybe you'll be watching too much Netflix. Maybe you'll be playing too many games. I don't play games. I used to. I stopped because those games were getting in between me and my dreams. And my dreams are always changing. But that's the beauty of all this, right? So forgetting that you have that ability, you're capable of more, doesn't mean you need to produce. I believe that as well, many times and oftentimes in life, we're here just to experience the birds, the smell of the flowers, the breeze as it blows across your skin, and those small, incredible moments that makes life worthwhile. I often catch myself in the middle of a party or a gathering of family, and I just sit and I just look around and I just take it all in. And I just I'm grateful for being alive and witnessing these two laughing. I'm grateful for, the food that someone's prepared, and I'm invited to share time with these individuals. So I think we often got to remind ourselves. I think that's why I keep on creating, keep on making stuff, is just to keep that fire going, Anyway, just to say that I get it. Old man Jones again. All right, let's see. I'd like to think I'm very creative, but once I put pen to paper, I struggle. I really like music, constantly listening to something in my headphones, or I have a song endlessly replaying in my head. I'm the type of person who can replay a song over and over again to scratch the itch because I can't seem to get tired of it. I'm the same way. When I drive into work, hello, single viewer. You're appreciated. Sometimes, I can't blame you though. It's 7:45. Usually we're on much earlier than this, and it's just me tonight. But yeah, I'm in it. Someone asked me, what music do you like, the other day? And my music is pretty much all music, but there's a time and place for me for classical music. I don't like heavy metal. I've been listening to a lot of trance music. I have music playlists for different things in life. If I'm on the way to the gym, which has not been for a very long time, I have on the way to gym music. That's where in my head I am walking into battle. I've got my shield over my shoulder. I've got my sword at my side, and I'm strutting up the hill, and I'm hearing the raging, roaring fight going on the other side as I'm driving there. And then when I'm in the gym, I have another place for in the gym. And funnily enough, it's music from 1987 through 1995, most of it, with some modern stuff mixed in. But it's all, dated stuff. But that's kind of pulls back those old memories and feelings. On with the old glasses again. It's my wife's. I need to get some glasses just for the show. What would they be like? All right. I like having a soundtrack to my day. It just makes life easier. One reason I don't have a soundtrack, I don't allow students to use their phone in class. It's a bit of a double-edged sword. I want my students to realize that they can do all of this without the phone, without the music. I play music on my computer, and hopefully it's much of the music that they would listen to. I think the students of today often will listen to things that are actually quite inappropriate, and where they might listen to something by themselves, and that's okay, more power to them. But amongst others, there's sensitive individuals, and oftentimes I'm the one that's being sensitive, and I can't listen to that. Was that a swear word? I think that was a swear word just then. And a lot of these songs, the lyrics just go. So let's see. Oh, I have a dog named Coffee. I already love the dog. He's a year old and he's got a strikingly human personality. Our cat has a strikingly human personality, Bugsy. He's a beautiful beast. He's very princely. I hope he lives forever. I'm terribly anxious, not so much in school, but in many aspects outside of it, especially when dealing with family. I think you'll find that's typically because, or sometimes because, you're afraid of letting someone down, and maybe you've been criticized for not necessarily doing the right thing, and this could be so far out of left field and completely and utterly wrong, but I'm just thinking how it relates to my life, which is the only point of reference that we have, right? But yeah, I could well imagine that letting someone down or afraid of making someone upset, it all depends about the family dynamic, and it's impossible to know your dynamic. But anyway, I interject, but now I continue. When I'm going through a few good months where I don't feel like I'm in some haze, I seem to forget all about my constant fear and apathy. But I can't say I feel that right now. I'm a pretty open person, so I don't have problems talking about my feelings. Me too. Don't know if you noticed. All right, so there is a question here. So, look, I think one of the biggest ways that we can help each other, as I was saying earlier about my seniors that stayed in class, we had the school split up last names alphabetically, and half the class went on one day, and then half the class went on another day or a different time during the day. And I had about 6 students stay behind. And what happened was a beautiful little care group kind of gathered, and quite a beautiful natural thing happened. And even one of the quieter individuals that sits away in a corner actually showed up, and they started speaking up, and it was just great to see, especially because they were talking with some individuals that they never really interact with before. At least, I don't see that in class. I guess more so because they're not sat on that side of the classroom. But anyway, I feel like it was almost the friendliest of interventions today, and something got sorted out. And it just made me feel good to know that they had that space between themselves, and they kind of sorted it out themselves. And I threw in the occasional word, but that was it. So the question here My big life questions are, why do people repeat their parents' mistakes? Like, how does that happen? Wouldn't you remember? No, you wouldn't. And in fact, sometimes we do things because we feel that we do know better, and because we've seen it on the wall and we've seen it repeated in front of us, that we know the way out, or that we know the way through that situation. And let me have a sip of water, which is really a moment for me to think. It's not only a case of why do we repeat our parents' mistakes. I think sometimes that is just Murphy's Law. I think at times we repeat our own mistakes over and over because we haven't learned the lesson. And I would say some mistakes are okay to make over and over. A few times you need to kind of get it under your skin before you realize that, oh, you know what? Yeah, I can't be attracted to this sort of individual because my life always does this, or I overcompensate and I do that, and it's not a healthy situation. You know, the number of times that I've been taken advantage of over the years, not in just in average kind of everyday relationships. Relationships will be a great topic to talk about one day. I had one viewer, I left her, or she or he left. I was getting the relationships topic mixed up in my head with the viewers. Yeah, I think we're destined to make mistakes until we kind of learn whatever it is we're meant to learn from that situation, and then we're able to kind of move on. You know, and again, every situation is different, but sometimes you can't see the wood for the trees. It's so busy that it's not until later that you realize that, oh, I've made the same mistake that someone else made, and that's fine. Sometimes it's like we can't tell you not to do something. You need to learn it for yourself. My mum used to say that all the time. Can a person really change after they've been that way for so long? In some cases, yes. I know individuals, myself included. I know individuals that have done silly things and didn't do the right stuff, didn't do the right thing. And, you know, at one point, I know of an individual, no longer here, but they were not allowed to see their children anymore unless they changed their ways. And it was a habit that they had, stuff that they would do. And they had no choice but to change, you know. But that was years ago. How do I manage to have fun an ever-changing life while also having the money or stability to do so? Well, my brother's in the UK living in a tent, making his own campfire. You know, you don't need money. Not really. Although saying that, I have bought myself some 3D printers, which again, really cheap. Does what I do become pointless later in life? Will I lose everything that I've worked for? No, not at all. It's like when we learn things, when we learn new skills, new abilities, and what have you, those are put away or they're built upon. You know, if I look back at the skills that I learned early in life, offset printing, right? A trade, offset printing, a 2-color Hamada printing press. I used to operate that machinery. They're still available, those machines, but now I've evolved. I do things a different way. And even lots of things that I've only done once or twice in my life, those are now tools that I have in my kind of mental toolbox or my physical ability box. to do, should I ever need to do that again. Going through 56. I must be talking a bunch of nonsense, because what have I been saying for the last... Let's have a look. You know what? I've been doing this just as much for me to kind of realize that it's okay. This show does not need to be anything in particular. Hopefully this is as disorganized that it will ever get, and that next Thursday, I'll have a couple of guests for you in studio. Why is life so difficult? Why do people hurt each other when it's easier to be kind? I think people come with a lot of emotional baggage sometimes, you know, and people, their egos, they don't know how to be kind. They don't know how to be nice to each other. Why is life so difficult? I think life doesn't need to be difficult. I think if we fight it, life can be difficult. It can be awkward. But I think if we learn to relax, chill a little bit, to not be so uptight, to learn some of the techniques that I'll be showing you through the Mellow app, the Mellow website, relaxation techniques, some yoga movements. Let me tell you a little story. All my life, I've kind of rebelled against the thought of doing yoga because it just felt beneath me. I used to work out. I used to be, dare I say it, a bodybuilder, a power lifter. I used to pride myself on being strong, and kind of messed myself up over the years. Not that I look like it now in any way, shape or form. But the weird thing is, I've been on this SEL course, learning social emotional learning, meditation, yoga, how to build and compose the right movements, the right things to say, taking into account, you know, being trauma informed, how to be aware of different people's needs, to make it inclusive, and what have you. I've found that my body's been crying out to do a little bit more yoga. Like, that felt really good. Almost like a martial art, dare I say it, but having structured movements in a proven way has helped me to gain back, you know, for the first time in a couple of years, my lower back is amazing. And it's all down to the movements that I've been practicing semi-regularly. And it's almost as though my body was crying out the other day saying, you need to do more yoga. That was amazing. And there are some moves that just felt incredible. So anyway, thank you, one viewer, whoever you are, for popping on. You may think that this is the beginning of the show, but I've been on for an hour. My fault. But I'll stay on for a little bit as I just go through these questions. So I've surprised myself that yoga has almost, it's almost now mocking me, saying, I knew that I was going to prove you wrong. And I'm excited to kind of make a little bit of space to do that movement, and maybe to help other teachers and students. So my plan is, at some point, I've arranged with my sophomores to have a mindful moment, maybe for 5 minutes or so in the mornings, a couple, 3 times a week. And if my seniors are up for it, the egos are a little bit kind of, you know, they might feel a little bit more self-conscious, but my sophomores are every single student are in, and they want to do it. So I'm excited to do that. I don't believe life can be difficult. So why is life difficult? Why do people hurt each other? when it's easier to be kind. I think it's just about everyone's hurt on some level. Everyone's going through something at some level. And I think sometimes we need to forgive and to be kind before we get that in return. So if we can mirror, right, that old adage, be the change that you want to see, if you can do that, I think one of the ways that I walk around school is bright, bubbly. Hello, how are you? I just imagine I rub some people the wrong way. Uh, I think once you start putting that out in the world, it's a lot better place to be in here. If you're coming from a place of, dare I say it, love, right? That's my belief about all of this, is that we're here to learn, like it or not, to love each other and to get on and to coexist and to allow. Yeah, sorry, but I think that's it. For me, of my 56 years, that's been the outcome for me. Let me see. Do you plan do you plan your life out, or do you tell with time what goes on with your life? Okay, so I hope you understand that as much as I did. I understand it completely. You can do both. I did the latter in my life. I really did the latter. I allowed life to happen to me. But if I was, or did I? I've always been creative. I've always made whenever I felt like making. I've been in situations where I didn't feel like, when I'm designing, creating, building, making something from scratch, I literally feel like almost like a god, dare I say that. But it's incredible when you end up, you got nothing, right? You got nothing here. One moment, I'm going to grab something. So if this is any one of my students right now, look at that hair. If this is any one of my students right now, by this little thing here, you know what I'm about to pull out this bag, because I've been showing this. I've been showing this to my students ever since I've been designing it, conceptualizing it, and creating iterations of it. Excuse me. And the idea is to fine tune this creation, to have the 3D printers here while I'm at work, print these things, and then when I get home, I send them out to whoever's purchased one, and hopefully I'll get a bunch throughout the month. I'll deal with it as it kind of happens. But if there's more requests for these things than I can make, nice problem to have, right? But that should not hold me back from doing it. But I love designing this stuff. I love building the mechanism and thinking in my head, like, it's a phone holder. And if you're one of my students, you're going, Jones, I've already seen it. Oh, I see someone there. Leslie, sorry, I didn't see your message. So this is something I've been working on, and every time I do something, I take it in and I show my kids. I call them my kids. I love them all. Some more than others. And the last thing I did to this was I put some nuts and bolts on the side of it. And I put some nuts and bolts on the side of it just because I want this design feature, but I'm not sure that this is the right size. So I think what I'm going to do is print them out smaller. But I got another, don't tell the wife, but I just ordered an SLA 3D printer, which is a liquid 3D printer, and it is the finest quality of a 3D print. So I'm really excited and I can't wait, and I'm going to 3D print out all the nuts and bolts. But look at this. It's a bit over the top. It looks terrible like that, but it's got drawers. It's a phone holder. So it's a phone holder. Oh, but wait, there's more. The nuts and bolts are going to go along the side, a little bit like, you know, at the top of the Empire State Building, and you got the gargoyles over the side, and maybe they got like rivets going in the side. Well, imagine this being all black, or like a aircraft aluminum kind of alloy color looking. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Ashley. This is early prototype, but it's Batman-esque, but it's going to be different. So the ear, get a load of this. So even though it's a graphic design class, I'm showing my students how to think outside the box and create stuff. There we go. So I'm showing them problem solving. So I want the, let me get this photo on here so that you get the full effect. I go to photos. How are you doing tonight? How's everything? Everything. I'm just going to find this one photo. And the photo kind of sets it off. Once I find it, it's up here. There we go. There's the photo. Right, so look, here's what I show my kids. So the colors, it's the wrong colors. It's meant to be heavy. You're meant to put like bedside, or if you got this on your desk. It's all going to be like one colors. I don't want to do it multicolors unless someone orders a multicolored thing, you know. But I want to show the kids how I how I created it, how I made changes. There's a mechanism. So right now, the ear, this is all relevant. You're all going to be millionaires by the time you're done with this. The ear, you're going to be able to press in. There's the ear mechanism I made. And when it comes out, so that will automatically come out of the thing, and then you'll be able to put your Apple Watch or a watch over here to charge. So the ear, you'll press the ear, and it'll charge, and then you'll be able to charge your phone on it, and it'll have some other gizmo as well. But I'm loving this and the potential of it, and it's a real niche market. But I think it has potential. So it took so long to design it, but it's fun as heck, and I love playing with all this stuff. But then I take all this stuff in, and I'm like, oh, I found out how to make it quieter, and I just show them, and you get the occasional student that you see them kind of putting two and two together. Yeah, I think it'd be cool. Plus, another teacher said if you had it hollow inside, my good friend Fernando, he said if you had it hollow inside, you could put a little thing there and use it as a weapon. But I don't think that should be used as a weapon. If you break it, you buy it. So yeah, 2 viewers. I don't know what to do with myself. Thank you, everyone, for coming by. That's my fault. I should have just stuck to 8 o'clock. But just to reiterate what I said earlier, Dave and Alima probably won't be here for a couple of weeks. So I thought, you know what? Let me go on. Let me talk. Let me ramble and get a few things off my chest. Go over some letters from my students, and every year I like to say, who are you? What are you about? I ask them some kind of revealing questions just to find out what they think their future is going to be about. But also with the caveat that you're like 14, 15, you don't know anything about who you are yet. You know, you're going to discover that in time. But right now, but surprisingly, so many really know. They're a lot more put together than I was when I was their age. Let's see. I don't have any questions at these times. Some of these stories are just brilliant. I love it. A question that I always ask myself is, what's next in life? Well, like I said earlier, I think it unfolds, doesn't it? Really, it just unfolds sometimes, and the next thing you know, you find yourself looking back, going, "How the heck did I get here? How did I get here?" I just, going through my life, I've written so much poetry, and that was always an outlet for me. And not not to blow my own horn, but I'm gonna. I'm pretty good at it. And I enjoy it, and it's an outlet for me, and it helps me get emotions. And when you're able to extrapolate an emotion to a scenario and you're able to express that in written form, I think it's great psychoanalyzation for yourself. You know, you're kind of delving in and you're breaking down what your thoughts are about. Why am I feeling this way? You know, falling from one rock laden ledge to the next, as I once wrote. What's next in life? I think it just all unfolds. Don't be so anxious. And I know I can't say that because no one can tell me to stop feeling anxious. No one can tell me, you know, I was reading something today, just, when someone cries, oh, don't cry. No, you know what? Yeah, cry. I can't remember. I grew up watching, my dad loved Elvis Presley. And so for me, a lot of my youth, I can't explain it. It's like there's music and then there's that one artist. It's beyond music. It's almost a religion. And I don't know if you have anyone in your life that you can kind of refer to that is like, oh yeah, of course, there's this one artist that's just, they are the foundation of my life. And that sounds a lot, but for me, Elvis was. I can even sing a lot of the songs and then sing them in order because my dad used to play the albums again and again and again. But I watched a preview of a movie that's being released. I completely welled up with tears because it brought back all of those emotions from when I was younger, and just all the love and the respect that I had for that individual when I was young, which of course was transferred to me by my dad, as I live vicariously through his love for Elvis. I remembered when Elvis died and Dad was crying in the door. One of the few times I've ever seen my dad cry, and because someone he loved died. Let's see. Can't really think of what it's like to have. I can't really think of any big life questions right now, but I do wonder what it's like to have a job, a house, a car, and having to take responsibility. Well, one of the things that I often tell my students in class, and one of the reasons I'm a little bit more strict, I am, but I'm not. And I'm a pain in their butts sometimes, and I know that, is because I want them to have the ability to hold down a job. Maybe you're going to be a millionaire someday. Maybe you're going to have your own business and what have you. But until then, more than likely, you're going to hold down a job. And I'd like to let you know that doing this, that, and the other would be a bad thing, that maybe you'd get written up, that maybe that's not a great practice to do. So I do hear my own voice quite a lot saying, I wouldn't really be doing that right now. Get off the tables. No, but just those little things that maybe it would be better if you weren't doing. And here's why. And I always say why I'm reminding. And I know I come across as a parent at that time, but I'm hoping that that time in the future, when they catch themselves doing it, they're going, Jones would be shouting at me right now. And I've had students that went on to college and have told me the same thing. Like, oh, I did some artwork and I didn't hand it in because I heard you saying it's not accurate enough. Those lines don't match up. This isn't even. I can't hand in like second grade lesser than work. It's no different than being in school, really. You have all these things that you need to do, that you're responsible for. You need to get homework done. You need this by a certain date, that by a certain date. It just shifts from school to work to things being paid. It's just different responsibilities. But at the end of the day, it's all just a responsibility. My brother living in the woods is starting to sound better, right? I think about what's our purpose on this world. I question religion a lot as well. But of course, I also think about silly things, about alien ghosts and stuff like that. My sort of question. I love it when the students always bring up these types of conversations, because I got so many crazy stories that I like to bring up. So, what do I think the purpose about the it's hard to read. I have many questions about life. I think about what our purpose in this world is. Okay. I honestly believe this is just one big classroom. We're here to learn to love each other, period. I think that if we could all kind of get rid of our egos and let go of our anger and just be kind, I think that's where all of this, I think that's one of the reasons I'm doing all of this, is because that's the essence. My wife's family, her dad says the essence of living is giving. And I think that's what it's about. And I think the more we do of that, the greater life becomes. And sometimes it's just the greatest thing we can give is time. If we can give a moment to other people, this is me giving time to someone, whoever's watching and washing maybe the dishes. I question religion a lot as well. So what was I? I wasn't raised Methodist, but I'm supposed to be Methodist. My parents never took us to church. They were never really religious. When I was 16, I started exploring all of that stuff for myself. And you got to find somewhere that's right for you. What I've told my children growing up is you could have been born to a Jewish family, to a Muslim family, to a Chinese, to Arabic, to a British. You just so happen to be born in whatever family, right? And whatever your parents believe in and follow and what have you, that's the belief. And many of us know, right, that we're right about our religion. I think that's all I need to say on that. We could be, and that's the beauty of life. You can delve into it all and see what makes sense to you. To me, standing back, looking at everything, there's something there. I don't need to worry about it. I don't need to sing to it. It's more about my actions. Both when I'm around no one and also when I'm around other people. It's about actions. And what am I doing? I've had very religious individuals try to sway me and talk, to persuade me to believe this, that, and the other. And in my head, as they're talking, I'm going, dude, you're talking, you're explaining my life. So it's just, I don't need to believe in the person behind the curtain or even know who it is. For me, it's just be the best person you can be. And yeah, I don't need to look up to anything, or be fearful of anything. I think there's a lot to be in awe of, and I think there's some really cool stuff out there, up there, wherever. I don't really need to understand it, right? It's about what we do with this. I think that's what's important. But of course, I think about silly things like aliens and ghosts and things like that. Well, those are going to be stories for another day, but my brother Nick, we both have had this ongoing conversation for many years. He actually experienced something years ago, and very fascinating. But that's his story. Maybe I'll ask if I can dig up the story and read it to you. It's quite he kind of came out and told the world at one point. But yeah, I think there's something. That old adage, I think the universe is too small. How do we get started in life after high school? How do I know that I'll be successful in my goals that I currently don't have? Again, I think it's just like the analogy of driving through a dark night, or you're walking through a dark night with a flashlight. You can only see ahead just as far as the flashlight will show you, and that's all you know. And maybe along the way you pick up a hammer, maybe you pick up some money, you pick up some tools, some knowledge, you bump into someone that shows you how to, and then your abilities change. And then you look at the world different. And the next thing you know, you're different. You're a different person. You're looking at everything differently. But through different colored glasses. And now the world's cool. You're not so pessimistic anymore. And you're further along with that flashlight and you're seeing new stuff. But then one day you look back and you go, wow, I now know all this stuff. I now can do all these things, right? And little did you know that you'd be on such a journey, picking up this knowledge, picking up these items along your way. And it's only till years later that you kind of stop and you go, wow, how far I've come. It's just a case of kind of getting on with it. It's easy to say not to have anxiety about it and fears about it, but trust me, even if you do worry about it, it's still going to happen anyway. Let's see. So why worry in the first place? What does the world have in store for me? Why does everything have to be a bad aftermath right away? Yeah, I think I've touched on those. As everyone's kind of faded away. Well, I appreciate you coming on. It's 8:25, hour and a half. Last question. I don't think I have any big life questions, honestly. Maybe, is it hard to find a well-paying job in graphic design? Well, being as that is my my class that I teach, I will say that it's pretty easy finding a job, and even easier moving forward, because this is the way that the industry is going. Just all industries, we're kind of going into this crazy meta world. They're gonna need graphic designers and artists like never before. So I think as many of you that want to do that type of work, it's going to be out there for you. Yeah, I think we're at the beginning of like the golden era of that golden era is past, but I think there's a new era of design. You know, build up those artist skills, build up those photography and videography skills, and just add more tools to the toolkit of the things that you can do. Just keep on growing. I learn something new every single morning. I watch at least 2, 3, 5 videos learning different stuff. And I say confidently that I can pretty much make anything. But that's the confidence you get with new tools and skills in your toolbox. Anyway, that's it. My wife's going to be home soon, I'm sure. So I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so much for Leslie and Ashley. So, and I'm not sure if Winifred, if that was legit or spam. I don't know. I can't remember the names. Anyway, thank you so much. I will let you know on the website, so feel free to check that out during the week. I'll get something put up there. But for next time, I'm going to try and have someone come out and join me. And so I think Dave and Alima are probably going to be out at least one more show. Okay, so much love to all. Have a fantastic weekend. Have a great weekend. Be creative. Make something. Do something. Learn something. Make your the moments count. All right. Smile a little. All right. Much love.